Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today's episode, we will be looking at the earnings, the Q3 earnings for Cisco. And guys, I have to be honest with you, I'm kind of happy, I'm kind of excited about it. Why? It's a big miss for Cisco. Why should I be excited? I wanted to have Cisco. I sold my Cisco, sometimes around August 2020, 2020. I sold it in an ace. I actually bought it when it was really down. I think around $38 or so during the lockdown period. But I sold it for one reason or the other. But I then realized that it was it was a mistake for me. So I wanted to buy Cisco again, but the price wasn't just right for me. But guess what? With this earning miss, I'm going all on in. I'm buying more of Cisco. I'm going to scoop it. Scooping Cisco because one, it's a value stock. I see Cisco as defensive in my portfolio. It's a stock you can use to hold funds. That's where I play Cisco. I mean, the market is actually crashing in a way. Cisco has remained stable until this earning miss. And as you can see, it missed the earnings and the price dropped from $49 to $41. That's about 19% down. It's a big miss for Cisco. Let's have a look at the details of the earnings. The revenue, Cisco actual revenue is 12.8 billion, while the estimated is 13.34 billion. The EPS is 0.87 cents, while the estimate is 0.86 cents. The big news is that Cisco is down and it's a big miss. Let's have a look at the earnings in detail, the earnings call, the transcript. Then we'll also look at the technical chart for price action. Let's see what we can get, whether Cisco is actually a value to buy at this price, at this stage. But for me, I am going deep on it. As I said earlier, I like Cisco. It's an opportunity for me to scoop it, and I am scooping it. But let's have a look at the technical details. Let's have a look.
Here is the detail for the Q3 2022 earnings for Cisco. Um, as you can see, it was released on the 18th of May. The summary, news summary, 12.8 billion in revenue, flat year over year, GAAP EPS 0.73, up 7% year over year, and non-GAAP EPS 0.87, up 5% year over year. Solid demand with product order growth up 8% year over year. Progress on business model transformation with total annualized recurring revenue at 22.4 billion in third quarter of fiscal 2022, up 11% year over year. Q3 result, revenue 12.8 billion, flat year over year. Earnings per share, GAAP 0.73, non-GAAP 0.87. Q4 guidance, 1%, revenue -1%, 5.5% decline year over year. Earnings per share gap 0.60 to 0.70. Non-gap should be 0.76 to 0.87. 2022 guidance, revenue up 2% to 3% year over year. Earnings per share gap $2.75 to $2.85. Cisco today reported third quarter result for the period ended April 30th, 2022. Cisco reported third quarter revenue of 12.8 billion. Okay, we've seen all this already. We continue to see solid demands for our technology and business transformation in progress well, said Chuck Robinson, and the chair and CEO of Cisco. While COVID lockdown in China and the war in Ukraine impacted our revenue in the quarter, the fundamental drivers across our businesses are strong and we remain confident in long term. We deliver healthy earnings despite unanticipated disruption through strong pricing and disciplined spend management. Anyway, our interest is more on the details here. Revenue, this is to compare this quarter 2022 and the Q3 2021, and you can see that and Q3 2022 12.8 billion, so it's more or less the same. The net income is 3.0 billion. Here is 2.9, slightly higher, 6% higher. Diluted earnings per share 0.73, 0.68, 7% higher. Non-GAAP result. We're not interested in that. Let's move further down. All comparative percentage are on year-over-year basis unless otherwise noted. Q3 2022 highlight revenue, total revenue. We've seen all this earlier. In March 2022, in connection with the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Cisco announced its intention to stop business operation in Russia and Belarus for foreseeable future. The total negative impact of revenue was approximately 200 million. Anyway, that's their own decision. They choose to not operate in Russia and Belarus for whatever political reasons. It's not the problem of the shareholder. Gross margin here on a gap basis, total gross margin, product gross margin, and services gross margin were 63.63, 61.8%, and 67.3% respectively as compared with that of 2021. Operating expense 4.5 billion, down 4%, and were 35.1% of revenue. Non-GAAP operating expenses were 3.9 billion, down 5%, and were 30.7% of revenue. Let's go into the balance sheet itself, balance sheet and other financial highlights. Cash and cash equivalent. Cash and cash equivalent is 20.1. Cash and cash equivalent and investment. This is 20.1 billion at the end of the quarter of fiscal 2022 compared to 24.5 billion as that of last year. Remaining performance obligation. Okay, here the deferred revenue acquisition in the third quarter fiscal 2022, we closed the acquisition of Opsani, a privately held enterprise software company. This is how most of this tech company grow. They acquire smaller company, acquisition and to add to their businesses. Guidance: Cisco expect to achieve the following results for the fourth quarter. This is a good guidance. Revenue negative point. Okay, it's actually a decline. Non-GAAP gross margin rate 64%, to 65. Uh, this is a scale down. Let's go on to the balance sheet itself. Fiscal year. Okay, here Q3 fiscal year 2022 conference call to discuss Cisco result along with its guidance. I think it's an interpretation of what we have read so far. Consolidated statement of operation. This is where we see nitty gritty. Product compared to same period last year, 9.4, 9.13. Services 3.3, 3.6. It was down this year compared to last year. Cost of sale, product 3.6, 3.4, slightly better. Service 1.1, 1.196. Last year was slightly better. Total cost of sale 4.7, 4.6. Gross margin 8.1. Last year was better in gross margin. Operating expenses, research and development, sales and marketing, total operating expense. This is what is key here. 4.5. This is 4.7, slightly higher. Operating income, net income here, it's a million, 3.04, 2.86. So this is this season, this last Q3 is better than that of 2021. Net income, basic diluted. Let's go on to the balance sheet itself. Gross margin percentage by segment. I'm not interested in really in okay. I want to see the balance sheet. The balance sheet. I want to see the liability. This is the balance sheet. Yeah. Current assets, cash and cash equivalent, investment 13.156, account receivable, net allowance 5.7. Let's see the total liability, total asset, liability and equity, total current liability, total liability is 52.39. Here is 56. So meaning that they have either made some payment or whatever, but it's a bit lower. So it's better in 2022 compared to 2021. Cash flow. This is the cash flow. Cash flow from operating activity, net income. Here, what I wanted to see is cash and cash equivalent. They might not state here as a free cash flow, so we look at the cash and cash equivalent. Um, Cash flow from investing activity. Here, net cash provided by operating activity. Last year was better, 10.95, 9.5. Um, let's go slightly down again. Acquisition of property and equipment, cash flow from financing, a lot of figures there for you to digest if you're really interested in all this. Net cash used in financing, here it's negative 12.46 million. Last year was negative 9.7. Cash paid for interest, cash paid for income, taxes and net. Cisco remaining remaining performance obligation in millions. As you can see, this is 2022 compared to 2021. So 2022, you have total of 30.2, 30.5, slightly down this year. We expect 54% of total RPO at April 30th, 2022 will be recognized as revenue over the next this for those who understand accounting, that's like a deferred revenue. Anyway, deferred revenue here, like I mentioned, this is deferred total. In deferred revenue, you have 22.29 here, 22.3, slightly down this year. Reported as 22.29, 22.3 is slightly down. Cisco dividend paid and repurchase of common stock. If you're really interested in all this information, nitty gritty, then you can check. But then let's move on to the technical details. So here is the technical chart for Cisco. Today is 19th. The market is currently closed. We're looking at the trade that closed yesterday. Cisco actually down to about 19%, misses its earnings. Um, as I can see, this is the last candle, which is a strong engulfing candle. This is telling us that we just may likely be going further down, further down. This is an engulfing candle. Let's have a look at it again. Um, Let me start with the here. Here is a sorry support here, so we can say that um, Cisco is trading below 20-day moving average, below 50 and 200-day moving average. Let's have a look at it on a weekly chart. On a weekly chart, what we can see here is that it is sitting on 200-day moving average. It appears that this is a strong support. Let's just draw this support. The support actually was a resistance and they became support. In fact, let's have a look at it on a monthly chart. The weekly chart. Let's see on a monthly chart. On a monthly chart, it shows that this is a strong support level. The strong support level, it was a resistance on support on a monthly chart as well. So let's go back to daily chart. On a daily chart, we can see that it is on this support here. However, um, this is a strong bearish candle that closed. So I will be thinking that with this last candle, if the market opens, we might actually go further down. Further down, as you can see, it's already down in the pre-market, but I was something might be off miss on this market price, but here it stated at 48. Cisco was as down as 41 yesterday, but anyway, okay, well at 47. Let's see what we can still get on a weekly chart. On a weekly chart, what I can tell you again is that apart from that being on a support, there was a rally here of recent, and also the trend here. But as you can see, he broke this channel down, and ever since then it has trended down. But we are now on a support, as you can see, and this is on a weekly chart. Let's have a look at what it has actually dropped from this recent high, of 63. Cisco has dropped about 23%. Let's go back to daily chart. Cisco on a daily chart, as you can see, it is actually trending down. So it is down. So there isn't more to that. We can't do anything more to this than it is trending down. So this might just be an opportunity for you, just like I'm excited that I want to add Cisco to my portfolio now, because I think the price is about right here.
The technical details for Cisco. Guys, do not do as I do. Do not just copy what I do. Look, make sure it's okay for your portfolio. Make sure you evaluate and you do your valuation. The market is really down. Almost every stock price is down at the moment, but be sure that it is good for your portfolio before you go down on it. Thank you for watching this channel. Please call again.